Give me 1 second, guys. I know our people on YouTube are on right now. Dealing with a little cold, but wanted to come through here for about 40 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes here. Because it was such a crazy sports day. There's so many stories to tackle. I'm obviously going to get to your questions. And I'm actually firing up this Periscope as well. So let me please just get to the Periscope, all right? So thanks. Got it, guys. Thank you again. We're rolling completely live. I wouldn't lie to you guys. Sometimes it's pre-recorded. It's live. It's 1:30 on the East Coast, 1:31 right now. And I'm officially going to pull up these pages of YouTube and Periscope. Again, this should be about 45 minutes today. Again, just working on kind of my cadence, working on just trying to fill in some time, and that's a pretty funny headline. So, Jabari, you're my man. You're always in here on time, rocking it out. So I appreciate this. Do you work actually at the Sports Fury, man? Because those guys are incredible, and I'm trying to reach out to them myself and actually help out, trying to work with those guys. I might try to do some college basketball streams, so I really like the Sports Fury a hell of a lot, and they're motivational because they do the best live streams out of anybody in the business. So I'm always trying to be the Sports Fury, and for all you people on Periscope right now that are going to come into this podcast, the Sports Fury is absolutely incredible. You should go see them. They're absolutely awesome. And, I'm going to read some of your comments right now. We have 25 live viewers at this hour on Periscope, which is actually fucking incredible. I'm not even sure how many of you guys are real or just bots, but maybe you guys can comment in the comments section how many of you guys are real or not. And you probably want me to actually get to some cadence and questioning. I wonder too, but I doubt that Archie Miller's brother was actually doing anything wrong on Indiana. That's crazy, man. It's crazy how I've just gotten some pimples. I've been eating some chocolate lately, and I heard it's a myth, but it actually is happening. I got two warlords right up here. So listen, it's gonna happen, but the good news is you got the gym, and I got a week to work those bad boys off. You're the general of the Mood Squad Ambassador of NASCAR. Wow, the NASCAR. Thank you, Jabari, for all of these references. Okay, guys, I'm going to get into my rant, though. Time to put on my Colin Cowherd hat and kind of, just get into the rant. Sean Miller. I think that Sean Miller will likely be gone this weekend, but it'd be cool as shit if Arizona just kept this guy anyway. Because Sean Miller is not doing anything that other guys would not be doing, okay? I know he gave $100,000. I know Sean Miller did that. But the thing about Sean Miller is that he's just trying to keep up with the rest of these Joe Schmoes and win championships. He's never been to a Final Four. He's a hell of a person, good guy. And this is a real problem. This is a real problem. It's not my mom's living room. It's my sister's living room. Sean Miller. You know what, man? Here's the thing about Sean Miller. He likely will be gone this weekend for paying $100,000 for a kid and for being on the conference call with the kid. He likely will get fired. But I think it's bullshit that these kids that come from absolutely nothing, that are so marketable, don't have a chance to make any money, though. And that's the part that sucks. Their jersey gets sold, and if they tear their ACL, they are screwed. So Sean Miller does sweat a lot. Sean Miller's never going to go to a Final Four. He's had the most tragic coaching carousel of his life. He had that team with Derek Williams. He probably paid Aaron Gordon $500,000. He probably paid Derek Williams $500,000. So why wouldn't I want to be a radio personality there for Donald there who's questioning this Periscope? Why the hell not? Skip Bayless makes $6 million. So here's the thing, too. And I appreciate if you think I'm good. If I suck, you'll probably still watch it anyway. It's 1:30. What else are you going to be doing? Here's the thing. And thank you, Jabari. I know that I got the Jimmy G shirt on. The thing is about college basketball. The thing is about college basketball now is that college basketball is the only sport that is marketable. It's college basketball, it's SEC football, it's ACC football. All, saying pay college athletes across the board is bullshit. No one's watching water polo. No one's watching baseball. No one's watching collegiate golf or tennis. No one gives a shit about those sports. It's only like 2 people. On Alabama, the only Alabama basketball player I can name other than Avery Johnson's child is Colin Sexton. He's the only Alabama player that I even know that would be marketable. Avery Johnson's kid's going to go play in the Netherlands probably in a year or 2 if he doesn't receive Lane Kiffin treatment. So the bottom line is even on these teams, it's mostly only one guy that's making the big-time bucks. And, here's the thing about college basketball. The one and done sucks. I want a passionate product. I want people to actually care about playing basketball. And Ben Simmons was, he's the ultimate. Why should I give a shit in my classes to do well in my classes? I'm going to be making more money combined than the entire faculty of Louisiana State University in 3 months. So that's the situation. Now we can try, what we can try to do right now? We can try to talk about solutions for this show. We could try to talk about solutions now for the NCAA and how we'd handle everything. So this is what we can do. We could try to have some fun. One, I think it would be a hell of a move if Arizona just kept Sean Miller because all these bozos are doing all this crazy shit. So if Arizona just rose above the fray, took the death penalty on the nose from Mark Emmert, and just stood strong and say everybody's getting paid to play basketball and just watch all the chips fall, it would be incredible because Sean Miller isn't doing anything different than probably, Coach Cal, Kay, Greg McDermott, Greg Marshall. Everyone's playing in this game, and the tough part is if you're a young assistant coach, say you're John Shire that works at Duke under Coach K, and Coach K tells you to go talk to Marvin Bagley's mom, okay? Do you think John Shire is going to reject Coach Krzyzewski's word? If he did that, he'd be blackballed from ever being a basketball coach. All the assistant coaches have to do all this dirty shit to work up the realms so that they're respected by their peers and they actually get an opportunity to coach someday themselves. Jeff Capel has to do that shit. Wherever Greg Paulus is at Ohio State, he has to listen to Thad Matta and his request. So this stuff all happens. Now, I'm a little tired of the people that say, this isn't news, this is so obvious, this isn't news. It's clearly news because now it's official. Sean Miller's doing it. It's official. Coach K's doing it. Tom Izzo. And it's also official that Coach Cal, who acts like he's above everybody, is just as guilty as the rest of them. So it's a very tough situation because when you're 16 years old, these guys shouldn't reject money coming in that's going to change their families' lives. How you doing, Sports Fury? How you doing, man? What is going on here? So listen, you know what we could do? I'll tell you what we can do. We could come up with a solution, and then we could talk about Marcus Peters. Does that sound good? Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Here we go. Appreciate you guys in Periscope hanging out. I appreciate everybody hanging out. People having fun. 1:30 in the morning. Let's go. Every single day. Let's try to do 40 minutes a damn day, whether it be about Villanova basketball, whether it be about anything. Let's just do it, okay? Because there ain't that many options out there, all right? So here we go. All right, so my last solution for college basketball, and then I'll move on to Marcus Peters. I know I'm only at 10 minutes. I know Cowherd does this for 3 hours, and he'd be talking about his wife's divorces to get him through this hour. Skip Bayless will be talking about the 1992 Cowboys, but I'm going to get right to my damn point and not waste any more time, okay? That's what everyone does. So my solution for college basketball is the Big Five programs. So my first solution is you just make at 18 you're eligible to go to the NBA. I think that's easily the solution. And if you're going to play in college, you can't give these kids a dime. You can't be talking about the companies. And if we had a company like an NCAA with no company involvement, that's unrealistic. But that would obviously be the best thing. So then we don't get the shoe person's deals involved. But obviously send the kids that are good enough to the NBA. So then they get paid. It's all legal. It's all above board. Because imagine if Colin Sexton tears his ACL. Like, how tragic would that shit be? I remember Marcus Lattimore at USC. He was my favorite running back at USC out of Duncan, and he got hurt, and his whole career blew up, and he would have made thousands and thousands of dollars, but he had to stay at college, when if he just would have trained, he would have been a second-round pick in the draft, okay? So here's the other solution. You give the Power 5 basketball schools, and this is very hard to manage, but this is how I'd attempt to tackle it. You would give the college basketball schools some money. Like you'd give Arizona, you'd give Arizona State, you'd give USC, UCLA, you'd give them a little salary cap, and you'd announce that some of these kids are gonna be able to market off of themselves and their brand, and you let their jerseys be sold. You let them accept the sneaker deals. Just let them accept it. The money that they sell for their jerseys go mostly to them and a little bit to the team, just like NBA basketball. You let college kids go into Alabama sign with Nike, okay? So the thing that's really tough is that there's always going to be coaches that are paying more money. There's always going to be dirty boosters in this process. So then you would say the only option is to do a salary cap. But then if we did a salary cap, Alabama would have the same salary cap as Vanderbilt. It sure would be a lot of parity. It would definitely make the whole college football system pretty crazy, because then Alabama, would actually, have to like Saban would have to battle people like on his own level if you salary capped like the SEC, for example, which would be pretty crazy. So I think the first solution is NBA. Let kids make money off of themselves. Let them do the shoe deals. Let everything be transparent, above water, above board, okay? For the people out there saying like it's just an education and whatever, these are guys that are ultimately millionaire, talented people at age 18. There's no reason why, if you can make that much money, if you can change your family's life, that you shouldn't be fucking around with that shit when you have that much cachet. So let me see right here. Why is there no fire behind me? That's a pretty good question. The firing takes. It's kind of like that fake fire that I honestly don't even know really how to work. Why is there no mantle in the room? It's a good question. I kind of forget what a mantle even is. Jabari, Josh, how you guys doing? We got 5 people watching right now. 5 people watching right now. I got this Jimmy Garoppolo shirt the other day. I believe that it's going to be Chiefs and Niners in the Super Bowl. Is this an abandoned building? Like I'm freaking, what's his name? Like I'm Goodwill Hunting and I just snuck into this basement. Now, This is a place where people in the house can sleep, and it's kind of in a dungeon, and it has a nice HD webcam, so it's pretty chill down here indeed. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Marcus Peters. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. If you like the show, just subscribe. So if you like the show, favorite the show, because then we'll do live shows. We'll bring in some, you know what we'll do? If you guys continue to subscribe, guess what's going to happen? We're actually going to bring in some cool guests. And then you don't have to just stare at me all day. We might get guys like Josh Norman, Odell Beckham, fun guys on the show. But that's going to need a lot of work, a lot of you guys talking to your friends to do that. Stuff. All right, let's talk about Peters. You guys want to talk about a little Markey? Let's talk about Markey, okay? In free agency all the time, everybody gets all up and bushwhacked about, you know what they get all bushwhacked about? Oh, my gosh. You know, Sammy Watkins was traded for a second-round pick. The Bills are going to suck. Sammy Watkins was traded for a second-round pick. The Bills are going to suck. Kelvin Benjamin was traded. He's a huge wide receiver. The Panthers are going to suck. And a lot of you guys had to put up with that crazy voice. But again, trying to keep it light, entertaining. Here's the point, though. Where does that really get franchises and teams? The Bills made the playoffs. The Bills made the damn playoffs, and the Panthers rocked on without Kelvin Benjamin. Marcus Peters got kicked out of Washington. He's a guy that gets a lot of interceptions. He's a fun player. He came on towards the end of the year. He also threw a football in the stands in the Jets game and got ejected. He's a decent player. He's inflated because everyone just wants to look at interceptions. That's probably why Justin Gilbert was taken with the 8th overall pick. That's probably why Mo Claiborne was taken with the 6th overall pick, because they look at interceptions and returns. And Josh Jackson, while he's a good player, all anyone's going to talk about is the Ohio State game, that he had 3 interceptions. We always judge our cornerbacks off of interceptions, don't we? It's all about interceptions and things. The thing about Alex Smith is he was traded for a 3rd rounder. If you guys get a 2nd rounder, then that would be good value. The point is, let's look at this Kansas City defense, and whatever, I'll cheat. I'll look it up right now on ourlads.com, the best website. If you guys want to continue to learn about football, it's ourlads and spocktrack.com. Spocktrack tells you everything about free agents and about money, and it's actually easy to understand. So Phillip Gaines isn't that good. He's a cornerback as well. So right now, the Chiefs are going to have to, in the 2nd round, select cornerback. They're also maybe going to have to get a cornerback on the open market right now. Whether that be Vontae Davis, it's looking like Davis is going to be a San Francisco 49er. But there's cornerbacks that are out there that the Chiefs can obviously get. If they get a 1st and a 3rd, like someone was saying, for Marcus Peters, their defensive line is also not very good. Chris Jones from Mississippi State, the guy who had the combine incident, he's actually a good player. I know he's a Pro Bowl caliber player. Alan Bailey, I don't know that much about. Benny Logan's a free agent that is just okay. He's getting old in age. Justin Houston is still playing well. But then Tamba Ali's going to be cut. And Derek Johnson. So they have a very old defense. Then you have Eric Berry, who is old. The entire defense under Bob Sutton is so old. So even if you kept Peters, you would still be old. You'd still be old, and you'd still be weak. The Chiefs right now, you know what they need? I'll tell you what they need. They need a ton of picks. They need a ton of assets. They need a ton of things to go on correctly. And I think Marcus Peters is slightly overrated, yes. I think that the Chiefs fans panicking are crazy. I love everything that the Kansas City Chiefs are doing right now. I absolutely love everything that the Kansas City Chiefs are doing, because I'll tell you what, I absolutely love Pat Mahomes. Like, Patrick Mahomes is absolutely going to be great. Tyreek Hill, Kelsey. All you need to do is go 4 defensive players, free agents, and then you guys are going to get a championship. Yep, linebackers, and then what, you guys need a left guard? I mean, but that would be the end of my priority. The offensive line's very good anyway. I absolutely love Mahomes. Absolutely love Patty Mack, and I think that the Chiefs are going to be even better with Alex Smith. It's going to be like Alex Smith to Kaepernick all over again. I think that Kirk Cousins is going to be a Minnesota Viking, okay? You looked what John DeFilippo did with Zach Ertz. He's going to turn Kyle Rudolph into a fucking monster. If I was a fantasy player, which I am, I'm taking Kyle Rudolph in the first 4 rounds of next year's draft because DeFilippo made Zach Ertz into the most leverage-friendly tight end in football. You now have Stephon Diggs. You have that kid from Ole Miss that is always battling injuries that got paid off from Illinois, Laquan Treadwell. You have Dalvin Cook returning. You have such a tight locker room cast. You have Mike Zimmer and good coaching staff. Would you rather go play in a place that has never won a Super Bowl before in Minnesota and be an absolute legend? Or would you rather go to Denver and be with a guy that has no idea what he's doing in Vance Joseph? Like, Vance is a nice guy. He's coached defensive position groups. He is in no way equipped to be a head coach in the NFL. Why would you go to Denver? You know, and then you look at Jeremy Bates. Yeah, you're friends with Jeremy Bates, but do you want to work with Woody Johnson, Mike McCagnon? Is that a proven situation? The Vikings are an NFC. The Vikings are in the NFC. You're from the Midwest. Your wife's family would like it more. I think it's a better idea. The Vikings have like $44,000 or whatever in the cap. Who's Johnny Stones? Is that some type of Olympian? I think it is. I feel like I'm living under a rock. I've heard that name too. Denver is really good for weed, though. Amen to that, man. I don't do weed. But, I mean, I totally understand that comment for sure. One of my crazy ideas here, getting off topic, is, and I'm just going to fucking fire this out here, and I know that someone's going to make $1 million off of it, and I'll get to the Jets QB question in a second, is that since Denver, has marijuana factories that are open, why don't they create a Dave & Buster's for weed where you can play video games high as balls, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, all these Mario games, Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers, and then have people try weed, go into the back room, play video games in a living room, have laser tag, make it a Dave & Buster's, but also private video game room. That thing would make a shit ton of money, and everybody would do it, and everyone would bring their friends there. So I'm sure somebody will have that opinion. All right, we got Browns QB. Jets QB. I appreciate you guys carrying the show. Jabari thinks I should do that, man. Tristan, I'm glad I made you feel better, man. I'm going to answer the Browns and Jets quarterback questions, and then I'm going to talk to my man Jabari about the San Francisco 49ers targeting the guard from the Panthers. I appreciate that, Pablo. And great news, I have a lot of material. You guys, even at 1:30, come through for me, and I'm going to go to YouTube. I don't have the money to do that idea, though, but let's freaking, Patreon that shit and, do that idea. Someone should do it, and then whatever. All right, here we go. And now I'm getting some hot take Eli stuff, which I'll eat that shit up all night. Here we go. The Cleveland Browns, for number 1 pick, they should take Saquon Barkley. He's a once-in-a-generation talent at running back. You can't bring the kid down. He has such good leverage. He's fast. He's like Dickerson, okay? He's like Kareem Hunt put together with a Peterson and David Johnson. The guy's a powerful back. He can outrun people. He's a slam dunk. If you don't take him there, the Giants are going to take him at number 2, so then you're going to lose out on your chance. At number 4, I would take, if I were the Cleveland Browns, I believe the safest pick actually in this draft, and it's weird, there's really no safe picks in this draft. I'm less high on these quarterbacks than I ever was. I would not take Sam Darnold. He doesn't have the skill set. Josh Rosen doesn't want to play in Cleveland. There's definitely personality concerns. He's a love-hate guy. Even general managers have said that they hate Josh Rosen, okay, or that they really don't like Josh Rosen. He's a smart-ass kind of personality, and he's not going to get along in Cleveland, Ohio, okay? That's not going to happen. They're already cutting him off the board. Then you have Lamar Jackson, a guy that from the pocket can make throws occasionally, but too often looks to run. Too much Tyrod Taylor-esque for my liking. I just don't know if the guy can be a consistent thrower. Then you look at Josh Allen, same thing. Can he be a consistent thrower or not? I like Josh Allen's upside more than Lamar Jackson because he throws from the pocket more. Lamar Jackson would be better off with a Shady McCoy or a dynamic running back, and then Lamar Jackson could just utilize his big play ability. So I do like Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen has rare arm talent that you won't see at any level here of the pros. Sam Darnold might be okay, but he's a little bit shy, too much herky-jerky release, small hands. I don't love his game. And I'm going with Baker Mayfield, okay? Baker Mayfield is a guy at quarterback that has produced at every level of play he's been in, okay? He's a guy that, other than one incident in Fayetteville and other than on-field antics, he hasn't done really anything wrong, and the guy just wins. And the guy also has very good arm talent, can make every throw you need. So Baker, the only concern with him is that now that Baker Mayfield has this new girlfriend, will he mature? Is he too small to play in the NFL? But I think Baker will continue to prove doubters wrong. Decent hand size. He's actually a 6'1" quarterback. So I'd go Saquon and Baker if I were the Cleveland Browns. And I would certainly do that. And that's how I get the thing rolling. All righty. UCF Jaguar is in the crib, man. How are you? Jets quarterback situation. Thank you, guys. Thanks for the compliments, man. Thanks for the compliments. Big money ballin'. Javon Butcher. Big money ballin', man. I appreciate all you guys talking about the setup. It's been an absolute blast. Could Josh Allen go to Cleveland? Yes. Was that video of him throwing it on his knees impressive? Yes. I'll tell you what the Jets should do at quarterback. They should go get Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen is my second guy on the board. You sit at 6 and you take him. I wouldn't spend money for Kirk Cousins. You're in no shape to win a championship. You need Todd Bowles, who doesn't know shit about offense. You need him to get even better defensive players. You need him to get Malcolm Butler, Tremaine Johnson, Ziggy Ansah. You need to see what type of defensive linemen continue to come out. You need to try to maybe draft another linebacker. And also you need to keep your draft picks in order so that you can draft in the second round your running back. Because if you trade up to the third pick in the draft, then you're going to then give away the chance to draft Sony Michel or Ronald Jones, and this running back class is going to be freaking incredible, all right? So if you give Kirk $30 million a year, I just don't know if you could get everything under the cap, and that defense certainly has holes in it. You have no cornerbacks of any value right now, so that's what I would do if I were the New York Jets. Jason, you really think Kirk is going to the Jacksonville Jaguars? That would be fantastic for Kirk Cousins. I mean, Tom Coughlin, Doug Marrone, really a consistent program with a hell of a defense. The problem with Jacksonville doing that is then Ramsey's contract's going to come up, Boye's contract's going to come up, so maybe keep Kirk for like 2 years, $64 million deal maybe, and then let Kirk continue to bounce. I would maybe do a 2-year deal with Kirk because you got Calais Campbell, you got Malik Jackson from Denver. How the hell did they have any room for cap, though? That's the crazy thing. How did they have any cap space? The Browns do need to draft a quarterback. Jabari, that Jimmy G shirt, man, is it's online at Niner.com. Burton Wong, what's going on, my buddy? How are you, man? Thank you so much for joining the podcast. Akon, 18. How do you have confidence in Eli after leading the league in interceptions 3 times? Just because the lucky Super Bowl wins? I have confidence in Eli Manning because there's not a ton of really good quarterbacks in the NFL. Eli Manning is a guy that, has exemplified great class over the years. So he's one of my favorite, athletes to watch, obviously, because he always brings it his all. He's a competitor, and he makes his teammates around him better just by his personality and his presence. And whoever's going to come into the league after Eli, whether it be Davis Webb or if we stupidly draft a quarterback, they're going to benefit from Eli and his tutelage. Eli hasn't had a great offensive line. His receivers are okay. And a lot of times, Akon, I look at interceptions, and sometimes I like a quarterback that has big balls and takes chances, okay? Brett Favre had the biggest balls in football, and he took chances all the time. So look at Eli Manning's comebacks. Look at the way he comes back in the regular season. And Eli Manning, to win a championship is so damn hard. It wasn't like the Eagles, where the Eagles played against Case Keenum and Matt Ryan and then found themselves up against a Patriots defense that sucked. Eli Manning beat Brett Favre in his prime at Lambeau Field. He beat Aaron Rodgers when the team went freaking 15-1. I mean, you talk just about the Super Bowl games, but the process of actually getting to that Super Bowl, of beating Jessica Simpson and Tony Romo when they were 13-3, and Tony Romo was out in a cabana with Jessica Simpson, who just came off of her Dukes of Hazzard movie that I'll never forget her in. So that time was the greatest time, really, of my life as a Giants fan, and Eli gave that time to us. He's older right now. He's kind of a shell of himself. Ben McAdoo was such a piece of shit that he, completely downgraded Eli Manning's play, kind of like Jeff Fisher did with Nick Foles. So that's kind of my point on Eli. He is a Hall of Famer. Winning 8 playoff games is really fucking hard to do. Look at quarterbacks that have won 2 championships. Anyway, wow. And I ain't mad at you either, pal. We're just challenging each other. I totally get the Eli Manning hate. I'm just as frustrated at Eli sometimes as you are, man. Those Vikings games have ultimately sucked. Oh, UCF. Yeah, I can tell you're already ready, man. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, so I'm freaking ready for football because I'd love tomorrow to get into to watch college football at noon. I'd love to hear College Game Day, Lee Corso. I want the fall to come around, man. I'm tired of NBA tanking. And listen, I'm excited, though, for the NCAA tournament. That's going to be really intriguing, even more intriguing this year. We got Nova and Creighton tomorrow. There's a lot of games that are going to be pretty fucking awesome. Burton. It's pretty crazy how many programs are guilty in college basketball and college sports. It's unbelievable how many programs are guilty. Phil, I'm going through withdrawal right now, and for this channel, dude, I do all these Jimmy Garoppolo videos. And that pretty much gets me, personally, this is a selfish point, it gets me all the subscribers when I do the Jimmy G tapes. But I also just love being able to go to a sports bar and watch 9 games of football where these guys are giving it their all the time, and we can figure out what coaches are on the hot seat, who's a contender, who's not a contender. Fantasy football, college football is exciting. Look at Michigan right now with Shea Patterson transferring out. Football is the best game. Every single minute of football always matters. That's why it's the best. It's 16 games a year. I mean, there is nothing like the fall in football. And I'm excited, though, for the NFL Combine because then we get to see these kids run. March 14th is going to be incredibly exciting. And now with these GMs getting even more ballsy, they're pulling their thing out, spraying it everywhere. The GMs right now are ballsier than ever. They're feeble than ever. So, Tristan, thanks so much, man, for hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. Going through a couple of other questions here, I hit on a lot of the topics that I wanted to hit on. The last thing I'll say is, thanks for coming into the live stream and talking about the Sports Fury. And for everybody at Periscope, you know what you could do if you're on Periscope? You can go to my YouTube channel, Rover Sports, another outlet to get your questions seen and answered. So I freaking forgot, actually, Jabari's question. the guard from the Carolina Panthers. He's going to be in hot pursuit because the Giants are going after that guard as well. And to tell you the truth, the Niners tried to trade for Marcus Peters, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. They're dealing with Reuben Foster right now with all that problem going on, and now you're taking a personality risk in Marcus Peters. It's interesting to see John Lynch do that, and I'd advise against John Lynch doing that. Like, I think for the Rams, I don't even think the Rams are going to be locks to be amazing right now. I don't think the Rams are going to be locked to be incredible right now. So the guy on the Carolina Panthers, okay? The guy on the Carolina Panthers, I'll pull this up. I know the Giants and Dave Gettleman are pursuing him too. He's supposed to be a very, very good blocker. And so the thing about the Rams getting this guy is I think Tremaine Johnson's going to be gone. Roby Coleman might be back. The Rams, this is kind of like a lateral move for the Rams because Tremaine Johnson is leaving. And the Rams are really aggressive. They're in win-now mode immediately because Marcus Peters is still under his rookie contract. So they're going to try to spend some money in this free agent class to get everybody up to speed. And the great news about the LA Rams is we're going to be able to see, one, if Marcus Peters can cooperate and utilize his full potential. But then we're also going to see if Jared Goff, who I'm not a huge believer in, we're going to see if Jared Goff can win some meaningful playoff games. Hey, Javier. I think that the Niners should try to get Vontae Davis. They've been talking to him for a while. He's had some good years in the NBA or NFL. So Tremaine Edmonds to the San Francisco 49ers. I'd rather get Roquan Smith, but now with Reuben Foster and all of this going on, it's interesting. It's looking like the Niners, what they're going to do is they're going to get their corner in free agency, the pair with Witherspoon. So it's looking like Josh Jackson or Denzel Ward will not be in the cards. I do like Josh Jackson from Iowa. Kid's mature, kid's lengthy as hell. He played in a very good Iowa defense. So Josh Jackson's a pretty good player. I'm going to look at the Edmonds tape some more. But Roquan and Edmonds seem pretty good. Roquan has a lower floor than Edmonds. Roquan's a less of a risk player. So Andrew Norwell, that is the guard in question here from the Carolina Panthers. He's going to be highly coveted. It's going to be a battle between the Giants and the Niners. I ultimately think, though, with Dave Gettleman, the Giants might get that accomplished. My favorite tight end prospect, you know what's interesting, UCF, is, and Lamar Jackson I'd start at quarterback. So my favorite tight end prospect, initially it was Mark Andrews for the longest time, and then it was announced like Mark Andrews somehow has unfortunately he has like a little bit of a heart disorder like diabetes, which I'm obviously praying for him to overcome. But he's also known as a guy that's not a consistent blocker, but if you watched him at Oklahoma, he looked incredible. So I still look at Mark Andrews and think he's really underrated in this class. My least favorite tight end last year was still David Njoku because he is all measurables, he's just a combine guy, but he's not a production guy. I want a production guy. Now, there's this kid out of South Dakota State that's getting compared to Zach Ertz. His name is Goetz or something. And we should look up that highlight tonight of Goetz from South Dakota State. Let's go right now to the NFL Draft Tracker, UCF, and I'll get you that answer, all right? Let's see how many minutes we're doing. It feels like we've been doing a pretty lengthy podcast, and we're only at about 38 minutes. So for all of you guys that are out there, you have to respect the great ones that do this shit every single day. The Dan Patricks, the Clay Travises, the Barstool Big Cats, the Colin Cowherds, because they have to carry a lot of time. So here we go, the NFL Draft Tracker for my man UCF Jaguar. and tomorrow we might do some college basketball. So they have Mike Gesicki as the first guy. I think that that'd be pretty good for Blake Bortles. I do. I think Gesicki would be great for Blake Bortles. You're a big fan of the American Basketball Conference there, Matt. It's a decent conference. 38. Yep, 38. So UCF, I'll answer your question, bro, and then I'm probably going to bounce pretty soon. So you have Gesicki, who I like. Hayden Hurst, I think, is okay. He's a baseball player. He's like the Brandon Whedon of this class. He's decent. His production is okay. I'd say I'm a pretty decent fan of Hayden Hurst, but I think he's getting a little bit overhyped. I've watched him in the SEC. He's a decent player. It's amazing to me how far down Fumagalli is. I love Fumagalli. I think he's a very good tight end prospect. So Fumagalli is a steal from Wisconsin. I interviewed Fumagalli. He's a cool guy. Fumagalli for sure, okay, needs to be mentioned. Jalen Samuels needs to be mentioned from NC State. Mark Andrews, Fumagalli, Gesicki. Right now, Fumagalli seems like a hell of an option in the 4th or 5th round. And UCF, I got to tell you this too, my friend. You're a Jaguar fan. Josie Jewell from Iowa, I want my Giants to get him, but if you guys are losing Paul Puzleski, Josie Jewell is your Paul Puzleski. I'll tell you that much. Alrighty, guys. Is Coach K going to jail? I don't think so. Is Coach K going to jail? I don't think so. I couldn't imagine him lasting one day in jail. Like him eating bread, him checking into jail, his little 5'10" figure getting shuttled in by security guards going into a prison setting. I could not imagine Michael Krzyzewski heading into a federal prison where then he will be in jail with a weird, creepy guy that'll read the Bible, that'll turn on the lights, that'll be like Caretaker. Not like Caretaker, it'll be like that creepy guy in The Longest Yard. So I think to answer your question and not repeat your question, I think that Coach K will be the weakest in jail, okay? He's a guy that unfortunately, you know what Coach K will have to do to survive? He could do a podcast. What he'll have to do to survive is he'll have to use his influence. He'll have to use his intelligence. He'll have to be in the library. He'll have to get cigarettes for people. He'll have to surround himself around the best people. I think that Cal is going to be okay. Izzo will be okay. But there's no way that Coach K is going to prison, though, man. I'm sorry to tell you. I bet you wish that Mark Fox could be going to jail with the way that UGA is rolling along, because UGA should be a better basketball program there, Jason. But I don't think Sean Miller's going to jail either. That would be insane, over just paying a kid to play college basketball. And the fact is about Coach K and all these guys, or Sean Miller, like $100,000, that's not even good market value. Like some like big money boosters, like that's just like pancake money. That's like nothing. That's what's crazy. So I don't wish any of these guys can go to jail. Really, I don't want any of them going. There might be a UNC fan or two in prison. How are you, Dolphins fan? The Dolphins fan. It's totally crazy. It's going to be funny. It'd be funny if, like, Northern Iowa, like, my favorite team was Northern Iowa because they actually give a shit about basketball in Cedar Falls. It'd be crazy if Northern Iowa was, like, the last team standing. And, like, Ben Jacobson's, like, the only guy that didn't pay off, like, Adam Cook and Farouk Manesh and Eggle Cedar and all those guys. I don't think Vontae Davis should go back to the Dolphins. But listen, last thing I'm going to say, it'd be funny if Coach Ben Jacobson was the last one standing, and that was the case. So we're winding it down. We had our highs. We certainly had some interesting comments. We had some lows a little bit during the show. but I feel like the show was a good run. And tomorrow we're going to talk some live stream college basketball. That might be 25 to 30 minutes. This is a 44-minute podcast on the dot, and you guys have been great. Take